and they don't gel, which means there's quite a bit of deceit. There's quite a bit of lying, quite a bit of not having to open up, and not sharing all sorts of things with the people that we love, which are our
Of
family,
course, yeah,
etc. So
yeah.
it's like,
And then
okay,
even with your friends, now when you go out and you're meeting all these people, there
correct.
may be a side, like a family side, that you're
Correct.
kind of not, you're not
Correct.
trying to shine a
So a
light
lot of
on.
them can't live most in the open, or they'll have a lot of privacy in their life because they can't really show so much of the things that they do in the modern life and the more,
So I guess
progressive.
now with the way that Dubai has become, the younger generation of Emiratis, I guess, are going to have a different dynamic, but I guess their parents will maybe understand slightly more, or
I think they will understand slightly more because first of all, their level of education is different, and they've gone to a lot of private schools, they've gone to the universities abroad. And I think that's one thing the UAE has down better than anybody is the education is amazing. So they've traveled, so I think obviously the values, the core values are still going to be there. The military service does a great service when it comes to that with the boys. As well in schools, etc. The values are still there. Religion is still there. You'll always have mosques and they'll always have, their prayers in Ramadan, which is fantastic. But then how they live their life, where they go, what they do is going to be very different. I think 20 years ago, or even 15 years ago, for an Emirati couple to go to sit in a restaurant or a bar where there was alcohol is absolute no-no. And now it's, you go to Koya, Zuma, whatever, they're everywhere. And it's beautiful to see. So we can still enjoy those things. Doesn't mean we have to drink or go out of our boundaries or what our beliefs. And it's okay. It's acceptable. So I think it's changing.
yeah,
Yeah.
evolving, as you said.
Yeah.
Now, bringing it to kind of today, in the last, 10 to 15 years, a lot of people have come to Dubai from all different corners of the world and are now having kids in Dubai that are going to be growing up in Dubai. How do you feel the dynamic will be for them growing up in this time? Will it be more identity issues where they're kind of stuck in between these different places? Do you feel that they're going to be running towards this kind of lavish financial lifestyle, running away from it? What do you think?
I think it's going to be interesting, that's for sure. But I do think that one thing that the UAE has that a lot of countries don't is an insane level of safety. Which is fantastic to live in, but it's not the norm around the world. So that's something to remember when we travel. So that's one thing that we all had to. I was naive. I grew up in the bubble, so I traveled and I put my phone here. I was like, "Where'd it go? What do you mean? What do you mean?" I was just what, And then so after that happens a couple of times, and you start being a little bit more cautious, etc. So it is still a bubble, so it is still a place where it's not like the rest of the world. So as long as you keep your kids, I think, educated on what the rest of the world is, which means if you can travel as much as possible, if you can explain to them what is so special about here and why it's different, etc., I think that will help. Now, pursuing the lavish and thinking that the lavish is life, that I think you'll have the people who will pursue it because that's what they know, and then as humans do, you got to have something for you to realize, oh, it wasn't it, right? So I think everybody's kind of will go through that phase. It doesn't matter where it is. So you could speak of alcoholism in another country where it's like, okay, maybe that's the answer for me until it's not. Maybe doing that is the answer for me until it's not. So I think for a lot of people here, at the beginning when they come here, their parents, not just the kids. So the parents will come here and it's about the luxuries. And all they speak about is like, look at the car I have and look at the service. And I've got a maid. Now I've got two. And all of that at the beginning is like, oh, I'm living this. And I want to show my family. I'm going to bring all my relatives to show them how I'm living. And they're riding that validation, self-validation sort of wave until it gets old. Right? Because we're humans. That's how we're built. It gets old because it doesn't fill up the hole. That's just, it's going through that sieve. So eventually, I think a human balances by himself. So they'll do something until they realize it's not the answer.
Yeah, it's interesting because to me, it's like this has never been done before. A country or a city hasn't evolved this quickly before. And, you know, I think if you look at most other cities around the world, there's maybe 5 or 6 different themes that, you know, London, Paris, New York, very similar. You know, a random town in the middle of nowhere in every country is very similar. Where can we can't compare Dubai to anywhere, really. You know, you can say that it's got hints of London, hints of maybe Las Vegas or Miami because of...
Yeah.
But you can't actually compare it to anything. And as we've been speaking about, where a kid grows up does shape them and affect them. So it will be very interesting to see... To see, you know, or to speak to a Dubai kid in 20 or 30 years and their kind of perception on it all, you know?
Well, if you think about it this way, what you grow up with is the norm. That's all you know. So if you grow up with this is all you know. And which makes you eventually seek other things because this is all you know. And now you know it. And as humans, we're curious and we want to know more. So maybe when they'll go to, you know, I don't know, Kerala in India, they'll be like, oh my God, what is this? It's amazing because it's so different, because that's what we do as humans. So it could be going that way as well. I think Dubai does invite a lot of people to come for some time. Not everybody stays for the long term. You know, people come, work, do their thing, and then kind of move somewhere else. I think now we are starting to get people who are like thinking, this is my home. I'm going to settle here and permanently live here. And I do think that it's, we do generalize a lot. And I hear this rhetoric a lot, which is Dubai is a lavish and people are living in the lavish homes and they're just bling blang and they're going out every night. I know a lot of the other Dubai. So I know a lot of the Emirati Dubai and they don't do that. You know, they're in their homes, mostly on the outside of downtown and all that. Family, they go to the desert on the weekends and they do barbecues and, you know, they chill by the beach and they've got a different lifestyle. So there are different Dubais. I do think that. But the Western expat, I think, has kind of one culture together, which
For
is...
sure.
Yeah.
I think so. A lot of, or some of your content is kind of relationship based.
Yes.
Right?